Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. Let's bet the national championship. So we have the 5th seeded San Diego State going up against the 4th seeded UConn. It's going to be a really interesting game. On one side of the court, we have UConn, who has just blown the doors off of literally every single team that they've played. They got up by 13 at halftime to Miami. At one point, Miami cut it to 8, where you're like, oh, wow, is Miami going to make this a game? Nope, didn't matter. UConn immediately goes on a 5 or 7 point run. The game really never gets close from there. UConn is just absolutely dominating every single team they've played so far. Then we have San Diego State, who has had a pretty impressive run to the national championship. Of course, they beat Creighton in the Elite Eight. They beat Alabama, the top seed in the entire tournament, in the Sweet 16. And then in the Final Four, they came back from down about 13 or 14 to win on a last-second shot. One of the most exciting games I've seen in a while, reminiscent of the national championship game between Villanova and UNC, where Villanova won on a game-winning shot as the buzzer expired. With the main difference here, obviously, this wasn't the national championship, but San Diego State went from literally losing if he missed to winning because the shot went in. Whereas the UNC Villanova game, it was tied. So if he missed it, it would have gone into overtime. So, you hear these hyperboles and these kind of ridiculous sayings that, the difference between win or losing is the matter of a couple seconds or of one shot. But in the Final Four game between San Diego State and FAU, it was absolutely true. Just an absolutely insane, awesome game. So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick 5-minute betting preview for the national championship between these two teams, UConn and San Diego State. What you see up on the screen here is odds pulled from oddsjam.com. So the screen you see is actually completely free to access. So if you want to line shop and see where you can find some value depending on your location, you can do exactly that. Just go to Sports, March Madness, click into the game, and then you see exactly what we see here. So we see all of the main markets on one screen: the money line, the point spread, and the total. So starting with the money line, no surprise that UConn is a heavy favorite. If you want to bet their money line, their odds look to be best offered. FanDuel at minus 345 at the most accessible book. PlayUp is local to me here in Colorado at minus 339. Of course, I do not recommend betting anybody's money line at that steep of prices. On the San Diego State side, best offered to be actually bet looks like plus 310 on WinBet. Of course, if you're looking at the sharp sports books, which are Pinnacle, BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Circa, there's no real consistency between the four, right? Bookmaker and BetOnline are more favored on UConn, whereas Pinnacle and Circa are more favored on San Diego State in terms of just how they have their odds priced. What's more interesting to me are a couple things. Number one is just the line movement. This spread first opened up on DraftKings at -5. Look at where it's priced now, -7 to -7.5. Now, at one point, it went all the way up to 8.5. So the swings that's happened with this spread has been really fascinating to watch. Immediately, people started hammering UConn. Then that went a little too high. So people started taking San Diego State to where, as of right now, I'm recording this on Sunday, April 2nd in the morning. It's kind of settled on UConn -7, but more importantly, most books have this at UConn -7.5. In terms of the money line, when odds first opened, FanDuel had UConn at -215, and then look at where all of the books have it priced now, in the high to mid -350s, 300s, right, up to almost -400 on a couple books. So the way that which the lines have just hammered towards UConn is again fascinating to me. But if we're looking where we can find value, again, you want to compare your odds to the sharp sports books. I like UConn -7 at -111 odds at PlayUp. Again, for those of you, it's a smaller book, so it might not be available for everybody, but it is a pretty good value, right? Two of the sharp books, Bookmaker and Circa, have this spread at -7, but they favor UConn at that number, right? They have UConn, if we're looking at Bookmaker first, UConn at -115, the San Diego State side at -105. Circa has UConn at -113, San Diego State at -108, favoring UConn. And then the other two sharp sportsbooks, BetOnline and Pinnacle, have this a half point higher at 7.5. So we are getting a pretty good value here on UConn -7. You know, it's been interesting to watch the swings of the spread. My guess is it's going to close about closer to about -8, if I had to guess, just based on where money's going and everything like that. So I do think that this will end up beating closing line value, and we are still getting a good value on it at this current moment in time as well. So we're riding with UConn. I've been riding them all tournament, and I see no reason to stop now, and that's going to be it. So we're hammering UConn -7 for our official play for this video. So if you're tailing, also riding with me on UConn, comment and let me know. But that's it. So appreciate everybody watching. Hope you tuned in and enjoyed the tournament, and have a good one.